I would like to invite Mr. Mohsin Hafeez, who is the country rep of International Water Management Institute, to kindly share your thoughts with us. Mr. Mohsin Hafeez.
Assalamu alaikum ji. Mohsin Hafeez from MEC to Minister Sahab, the Secretary, Honorable Secretary Sahab. Welcome everyone. Just discussion the development talk I would like to highlight, the 5 points, and then that's relevant to that the climate change, that's relevant to the water management, that's also relevant to the disaster preparedness and the fisheries. First important is that the Punjab PND has already developed the Punjab adaptation to climate change tool, which has been primarily developed for the 3 sectors: agriculture, environment, irrigation, agriculture, and energy sectors. And that tool is giving that the purpose of that tool is how that could be used for climate risk assessment for each of the development project. I think that there is a need to upgrade that tool, because the tool is providing only the information on a perception about the climate change and then qualitative risk assessment and then the quantitative risk assessment. So we need to upgrade this tool into that one based on a future, past, and then the present climatic data, also as well as the other information which are available about that the flood and droughts, temperature trends, as well as the different ecological zones, the groundwater, surface water and groundwater zones, and all those information need to be integrated. And then the second import, so that because each department has a different understanding, a different capacity to understand the climate change. When the people are populating, then that's where the problem comes. So it needs to be integrated. And the other thing is that there are 14 agroecological zones. The recently work has been done by the FAO. We need to develop, also integrate into those the PECT, upgradation of the PECT tool, and that will help us basically to identify where are the, when we any project is starting, not looking on the isolated for the one project or for agriculture, but how we could overall look around the integrated way. What's the impact on agriculture project on energy? What's the impact on irrigation? And also inclusion of the socioeconomic and as well as the infrastructure development project. And that will be a robust way of monitoring. That's the first thing. Second thing is about the climate risk management. At the moment, the PDMA and then the individual departments are spending it. They have some products available for that, the flood, and some are for the drought. But then those are in isolated way. Those are not well integrated for providing a holistic picture what's happening at the Punjab level. I think what we need to do it, we need to look around that one, how we could utilize the geospatial data, the containing the information on climate vulnerability, climate impact, and disaster risk reduction. So that could be how we could develop the different strategies on improving that one. Important is first we identify the risks, and what are the risks in terms of the climate hazard, in terms of the any other hazard which are flood and drought, and then also what's the trend and how we could change that one. Then the next thing is important, linking with that one, is the risk reduction. What are the climate adaptation strategies we could do it, and that could be reducing that the risk, and that could be on early warning system, that could be also on that one the emergency planning, and then the rapid assessment. All those things are part and parcel there, and also the mitigation and some of the preventive measures which we can take it. Then the third important is how we could transfer the risk, and the risk is basically through that the agriculture insurance, through the climate index insurance, and through the flood insurance. There are many ways where we could put the bundles together, and based on the information which is available now, which was not available 10 years ago or 5 years ago. Now there's big data, which is combining the satellite data, on-ground data, and all sort of developing a product for the Punjab, with the starting with the one district level, which could be shown at that one, what's the climate risk assessment and how we could develop the things. And obviously that need to link with the capacity building of the institute, linking with that one, gender and youth is also part and parcel there. And these knowledge products would helpful to address some of the issue which you mentioned in your concluding slide about the credible data and all the other things are there. So that's the second thing. Third important thing is that the potential growth of the saline agriculture in the Punjab, promoting that the fisheries. Fisheries has a huge potential in southern Punjab, in the 3 Multan, in that the Dera Ghazi Khan, and then the Bahawalpur Division. we are having it, the groundwater is getting saline and then there is every year there is around the huge area of the land is undergoing salinization. Farmers are affecting. And at the moment, we don't have any study available which is telling us what are the potential inventory about the saline aquaculture, and what are the, there is a huge capacity gap, there is a huge policy gap, there is also, we don't have any baseline information which is starting there. Considering the other countries, they have done a lot of work on aquaculture, and I believe on the saline aquaculture, there is a huge potential to make a transformational change, to change the livelihood of the farmers and providing them some other alternative measures. Just to give one example, that IMI with that the world fish, we have been working in a Myanmar region, where in 2000 there was a saline aquaculture production was around 0.4 tons, 0.4 million tons. Now in 2018, that has gone to around 1.3 million tons with the saline aquaculture, and that's contributing towards the 30% of the production. There are many countries who have adopted that the potential. So we would welcome to work with the P&D and then fisheries department, what we could do in that improving the fish production in the saline and aquaculture environment. The fourth important is on the Punjab, the water management, that the issues. Whether we are talking about the climate smart agriculture, which Malak Amin Sab mentioned, which you mentioned about that one, there is a need of that one to grow the crop in the area where the crop are suitable based on agroecological zone. Let's say in Rahim Khan area, if you're growing a sugar cane, that's it's a disaster. It's a criminal negligence that we are growing there. So we need to really introducing the climate adaptation thing, and as well as there is the Punjab government has introduced the Punjab Water Act. Under the Water Act, there is a Water Resources Commission. And again, the policies are there, the acts are there, but how that could be implemented? One of the things is there under that one, we need to have a water allocation for the livestock, for the agriculture, for the environment, for the industries, and for the human being. How we could utilize that, but we don't have a baseline information available. So we need to think about that one. What are our short-term priorities if we are introducing any kind of the water policy? How we could achieve on that one? Taking one example is every city in Punjab is getting a groundwater. Around 90% of water is used from groundwater, and that's also is not the drinking water is not provided for the people, whatever their basic needs are there. So everyone is going for the private water used for drinking and everything. So we need to think about how we could divert the water from the surface irrigation and providing the more for the also on that one for the drinking purposes, by optimizing the agriculture production through the climate smart agriculture. So those are some of the innovative ways. And one last thing is also representing about that the wastewater directly, which is using into that for it's mixing into the Ravi River, it's mixing into all our basically canal irrigation system there, and that has a huge impact on the human health. We called it One Health initiative, when wastewater is a polluted water without treatment is used for drinking purpose, it will have impact on human health. It will also have impact on animals who are who are drinking that water. It will also have the impact on agriculture crops, especially the edible crops which we are using it, which we are consuming it. So it says we need to think about what we could do it, what are the interventions we could do it. If we compare with the neighboring countries in the region, I think we are far behind in introducing, thinking about that one. And one last comment is about that for the cities, we need to think about how we could introduce the nature-based solutions for the urban water management, especially during the flood season. What could be done and how we could improve those initiatives, that the flood water harvesting, rainwater harvesting, and groundwater recharge, and those options are there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mohsin Hafeez. You have very valuable suggestions, especially with reference to the implementation of PEC tool and promoting the climate smart agriculture. This is very important for all of us for the sustainable development of our province.